What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of CMA Podcast. How is everybody doing? 2021 is gone. 2022 is among us. How is everybody since the click of the new year? Crazy times in the world, yes, but we will survive nonetheless. I hope everybody had a good holiday. Time off over Christmas, obviously very important to some people, very, very, very important to others, not so important to others again. So whatever you did, I hope it was fun. Crazy times here at the Keens. Having kids, it's a busy time. There's not really much time to put the feet up and enjoy some beers. You gotta keep going. You got to keep active. There's things that need to be done. There's toys that need to be assembled and played with and all that wonderful stuff. But obviously those with kids understand. Those without probably had a great Christmas too. So yeah, crazy times here. Just nonstop for 2 weeks. They had a 2-week break. So we were just all go. On top of that, myself and my significant other ended up getting a little sick, not COVID. So dealing with kids when you're sick, obviously, again, not ideal circumstances, but you make it work, you know. But we survived and it was awesome. We had a great time. The weather in Switzerland as well. It was snow before Christmas. During Christmas, it was up to like 12 degrees. And now it's back to icy cold mornings and snow, and it's kind of a weird time. But yeah, it was good. We had a good time, Christmas time. Good food, good beer, not so much, but we kept it alive. Cancelled 3 podcasts from the 26th to New Year's Eve due to illness. It was not ideal. I've had a complete 2-week break from the podcast. I think it was needed because I'm starting to get a little bit obsessed with content and analytics and things like that. But it was, I think, a well-needed break. Even though canceling guests is never a good idea because rearranging, people are just really busy these days. Trying to make it all work. But yeah, I would have liked to have gotten a post-Christmas episode out. I would have liked to have gotten a New Year's Eve episode out or a New Year's Day one. And talking about, obviously, fights and everything that happened over the last month. Kind of been neglectful on that. But there's plenty of time. We'll make up for it, We got some things in the pipeline going forward. What I want today's episode to be about is a recap of 2021. 2021 was a crazy year for gyms and the fight world and business in general and life in general. Obviously, the constant debate that we're going through as to what the right way to act is in today's world with the virus. But again, trying to stay off that topic as much as I possibly can. But 2021 was a really significant year for me, especially. And I'll talk about this from a very selfish standpoint right now. I came on board with the ownership of City Martial Arts, CMA, in January. And we started to, myself and my partner, we started to discuss how we're going to attack this. How we're going to deal with this in a pandemic. And we sat for hours talking about what we're going to do, how we're going to make this business work. Are we going to close the business like most businesses in our town? There's like a section of the Altstadt, like the old town in Lucerne, and it's like all small businesses that depend on tourism and that depend on gatherings and people that come in and visit and restaurants obviously as well, but they're all closed. There's so much open space and property, commercial properties to let now, and we just saw that this was going to be more and more as the restrictions got heavier and heavier, especially like late 2020, early 2021. So we came up with a plan. We just basically decided, what people aren't discussing, and I'm sure people have heard me talk about this on this podcast before, but what's killing businesses is they're not allowed to open. And that's fine, but all the overheads need to be taken care of as well. Because you have a contract. That's the fuck up of all of this, that there's no leniency. The further down you go, the more flexible you have to be. But at the very top, and the people who make all the decisions and wear the suits and hide behind agents and, property development, like the what are they called? Property management companies and things like that. Rent still has to be paid on time every month, irrespective of a pandemic. You have a contract, you have a lease, you have to pay rent. And that's what's killing businesses. That's what nobody's deciding to talk about. And that's what we've been talking about for the last year and a half. And it's very, very frustrating. I get very angry talking about it because, how do we approach that as a gym? We tell every member, no, sorry. You have a contract with us. You have to continue paying every month. Sorry, tough. But the gym's closed. We don't offer a service. We can't invite more people in if there's a cap on the amount of people that we can be allowed to have in our premises. You can't advertise because you can't satisfy your current members. No one's talking about that. And I'm like, it doesn't matter what you do, you still have to pay rent every month. So let's say our closure lasted 5 months, I think 6 months. 6 months of rent still had to be paid with no money coming in, no member paying more, no gyms, no people allowed into the gym. Doors remain closed. So we just basically decided, hey, let's take what we have currently, the ongoing dispute with our landlord, and let's use that to get out of the lease. Hey, respectfully, we're going to be busier, we're going to be louder, it's going to be more classes, earlier classes, later classes. Once this pandemic is over, we are going to be booming. But we'd respectfully like to leave the premises now. We would like out of our lease. So they granted us that because of, essentially it was noise complaints from apartments next to us, owned by the same property owner. So we got out of the premises that we were in. And I said, I'll take classes, I'll do it outside, I will do it for free. There's no charge. We'll satisfy our current members. We'll try and get more people on board, build some numbers. And let's keep this business alive. Let's not follow the same trend of all the other businesses that are flopping, that are closing their doors, that can't afford to make rent, and then they got to go bankrupt. We continue looking, and which we did. We continued looking for premises to rent, but with the stipulation that there's some sort of COVID protection, lockdown protection, some sort of flexibility in the lease that we would sign and agree to that would allow us to operate as a business and not be under a financial tailspin should the government, which people here voted for, should the government come in and say, okay, we need more restrictions, we need caps on people per square meter, and you need to close your doors again because we said so. But all rent still needs to be paid on time every month. It doesn't make any sense. It's mind-boggling that this isn't discussed more, but I don't know. So that's what we've been doing. We have been training outside since, I think we started it in late February, because that's when it was, we weren't sure about how it would work in the cold. Summertime in Switzerland's beautiful. We weren't sure if it was going to work in the cold, and it was ice cold those first 2 mornings. It was a Saturday. I took like a boxing class down by the lake. You know, I understand people don't want to train outside. They don't want people looking at them when they're training and all that. But this works right now. This is what we got to do right now. So we started training outside. And, you know, again, I don't want to go down the route of COVID, but staying healthy kind of helps protect yourself against sickness, right? Being overweight is not a good thing. I get it. Body positive movement. Now I'm going to get canceled, but being overweight is not a good thing. You got to lose those extra pounds. You got to take yourself seriously and get fit, get healthy, because otherwise you're, as the experts have said, you're going to be one of the danger groups. So go training, get fit, eat right, stay healthy, have a good immune system. But even fucking prior to COVID, this should have been the way. Promoting a healthy lifestyle. I was pretty heavy a couple of years ago. I was at my heaviest. I think I was 105 kgs. I think I'm down now to about 90, 91, maybe 92 max. But that should be the way all the time. It's like when they started fucking telling us wash our hands last year, and there was queues of people in the bathrooms standing in line to wash your hands. I started washing my hands properly when I was 3. I don't know. But again, I'm trying to stay off that topic. We just said, hey, we're not going to close our gym. We're going to train outside. And here's the fucking kicker, because I got such a big fucking heart. It's free. I'm not going to ask you for any money. Money goes towards rent and bills and fucking, equipment and, obviously profit and stuff. But me and my partner, we already have jobs. We're not one of those desperately surviving businesses right now. We can afford to do this. So we're training outside and we're doing it for free. I guess you're giving back. We're not money hungry scumbags. You could charge a small fee for training outside. I talked to, on the podcast, I talked to a girl called Sarah Jeffries, who's the wife of Tony Jeffries, who owns Box and Burn in Los Angeles, California. And he started outside on that podcast. It was pretty cool. He started outside and he did it donation only. So you could pay if you wanted to. If you were struggling, you could just still come and train. And that's the way it should be, if you can afford that. If you have that option, if you've got an income and a business, we're not money hungry scumbags, as I said. We'll do it outside. We'll do it for free. We'll have fun. I bring my music. We put on the gloves. We do a good warm up. Little bit of technique. Sparring. Don't want to spar? Don't have to spar. But let's keep the fucking ball rolling. Let's not stop. You can't meet up with friends. You can't go places. You can't travel. You can't do this. You're restricted from doing that. No. You got to stay healthy. Up here too. I understand a lot of people are losing their fucking minds now. So that's what we decided to do. And for me, personally, it's a complete success. I'm loving it. Showing up every single night. Whether one person shows up or 10 people show up or 20 or 50. It doesn't matter. You just go, you warm up, you do your technique, you do your sparring, you talk about fights, that camaraderie that we talk about on the show. And you have fun. And that's what we've been doing, and it's awesome. I fucking love it. It's so much fun for me. Because I took stock of the fact that I missed going to the gym so much. Because I had a bit of a break before coming back. I had like a 2-year break. But yeah, that's basically what we've been doing, and that's what we're going to do. So we've pretty much survived the coldest of the winter. which I thought would be very, very difficult in training outside, especially when it's like ice cold and snow with wind and sleet and rain. We found somewhere through one of the guys that came to boxing a covered space, like just a place where even if it does rain, we can still train. It's outside, it's covered, it's a nice lit space. And summertime, you know, we take it to the lake. There's a big open green by the lake in Lucerne, and it's just beautiful, big open space. You know, you get your people watching and stuff. I make jokes like hashtag CMA if you post it on Instagram. But I'm loving it. I'm just loving doing that. And I'm loving the fact that we can keep the name and the brand CMA going. And who knows, when all this is done, I talk about, on previous shows, I talk about competition. You know, you're seeing gyms drop off the grid every month for obvious reasons. But we need these gyms to stay going, just like we're staying going, because once we kick back in, not having any competition could generate laziness. And we all need to stay sharp. Summertime was great though, because it was warm outside. You know, you could walk down shorts and t-shirt and just get kicking. Winter is a little tougher, but if you don't mind me saying so, I think society has gotten a little fucking soft and politically correct. Oh, is there no showers and toilets? And hey, shower when you get home. Use the bathroom before you leave. Bring your bottle of water. Shut the fuck up. Train. Talk about it later. I'll be fucking hearing any of that shit. But I think we've gotten a little soft as a society. I'm trying to combat that too, you know. That was summertime. So let's look at what happened in July. In July, I don't know, through talking to some friends, and I don't consider myself a funny person. I just have like a few funny moments here and there. But some people have been saying, hey, dude, you should start a podcast. I'm like, well, no, absolutely not. I'm like, what would I talk about? And they're like, you're funny. I'm like, well, I'm not that funny. I say a few funny things once a week. A lot of my comedy comes from memes, and I don't generate memes. I steal them. I'm a meme stealer. So when I started really focusing on what I wanted to do and how I wanted to help progress this gym, the guy that I kind of look up to from a mentor standpoint nowadays is a guy called Dave Portnoy. If you don't know who Dave Portnoy is, he's a fucking legendary genius. He is the founder and not CEO. I know he's not the CEO. Basically, he's the owner, founder of Barstool Sports in the US. I'm not going to go into what he does, but basically, it's a huge platform. They do and promote podcasts, and they mainly focus on like American sports, American football, hockey. Is that Canadian? I don't know. Am I fucking up there? Basketball, college football. They're now branching into MMA, but their podcasts, a lot of them are to do with the office lifestyle and pushing out their content. It's weird. It's a hard one to explain. Basically, you know Jordan Belfort from The Wolf of Wall Street? Basically, if there was a podcast about what it was like in their offices at that time, and they were talking about it and pushing that out to the public, that's essentially what it is. But Dave Portnoy, also, you know, multimillionaire, helps businesses, helps people, put out this huge campaign where he got his millionaire buddies together, got this huge pot of cash, and like asked business owners to like tell their story, and we'll do our best to help you out. So they would tell their story and like get donations, not loans or anything, just from these this pot of money. Helped local businesses essentially, which is what I kind of want to do with this podcast too. So I said, hey, let's do a podcast. Let's do it in relation to our gym. Let's do it in relation to fighting, fitness. Let's have it in the gym. Obviously, I've been doing it here at my bar for the last fucking 6-7 months. But let's do a podcast and talk about upcoming fights, break down fight techniques, get conversations going with people. So that's what we did. We opened up the show with myself and my partner here, Evo, and we literally just developed it in real time. There was no plan. There was no blueprint. There was no, okay, here we need to be here, we need to be here. No, we just went off the cuff. We talked about everything at the beginning, and then I decided, hey, I'm going to reach out to some fighters. I talked to some UFC fighters. If you haven't seen any of the episodes, go back to like July, August, September. Within like 10 episodes, 10 or 12 episodes, I was talking to Marcus Davis, the Irish hand grenade. Huge fan of that guy. Krzysztof Szynski from he was in The Ultimate Fighter. He fought in the UFC for a while. Chuck Liddell. I talked to Chuck Liddell. That was surreal. I don't know. I just reached out, said, hey, can you do it? Give me 20 minutes of your time. And he's like, absolutely, no problem. We talked for like 45 minutes, but the recorded segment's only like 20 minutes. That was pretty cool. Stitch, the cut man and the hand wrapper. Bas Rutten, one of my favorite episodes. We talked to, legends of the sport, legends of the game. And then we just, I don't know, I just wanted to talk to fighters and get their take on things nowadays and tell them how much they mean to me as someone who is heavily influenced by them to get me to this position. I talked to my coach, my MMA coach back in Ireland. He's from the US, was in the UFC for 3 fights. Thanking him for all of the hard work that he put into me, and how he motivated me and inspired me and dug me out of a shitty situation. And amazing. Love that one. Talked to previous opponents that I talked to, like that I fought before. Talked to other people in the podcast world. Khalid in Germany and Bert in the UK. Talked to Sonia Anubis, lead guitarist for Crypta and Cobra Spell, just to get her take on hard work and perseverance through a pandemic and what it takes to become elite. She's an elite guitar player, and you don't just identify as a great guitar player. You got to put in some hard fucking work, the same way you put in hard work to be a good boxer. You don't just show up, be shit for 10 years and all of a sudden become pro. You got to suck for 2 years, have a great year, suck again, keep going, keep eyes on the prize. So that's what we've been doing for the podcast, talking to many different people about many different things related in certain ways. And hopefully some more guests coming up over the next month or two. Trying to strengthen my DM game. As a married man, you're not really supposed to have a good DM game, but my DM game is strong, But yeah, that's what we've been doing. So relative to the gym, training outside, not having to worry about making rent every month, being fit, losing weight, getting healthy, and I think most importantly for boxers who are boxing, getting better at your craft. Not taking the pandemic off and coming back and expecting to do 6 months and fight, Now, I have been getting a lot of questions about the other sports that we offer at CMA. Obviously, jiu-jitsu, if you can find a dry grass spot, jiu-jitsu may be possible over the next few months. But you're on the ground and you need to be indoors on mats. So there's parameters there. Kickboxing, very, very dangerous. This chair is almost broken. Very dangerous unless it's grass again, But again, you don't want to be seen around town kicking somebody in the face or really like when you're hard sparring, things like that. Boxing, you can kind of get away with it. But for the other sports, obviously like weights are in storage, or weight machines, treadmills, the electric bike, that will be available. Everything will be available once we find a gym, once we get back inside, once this nonsense is over and there's no restrictions and it's pretty much back to normal. That will all still be available. Right now, people are asking me, is CMA turning into a boxing gym? I'm like, no, right now we're just offering boxing. But onward and upward. It's not that we're sitting down waiting for the pandemic to be finished. We're just working while the pandemic is still on. It's just, that's what we got to do right now. And the podcast will still be going. The podcast for me is therapy. I like talking about fights. I like talking about like the upcoming heavyweight fight, Cyril Gane versus Francis Ngannou. Very excited to talk about that one in more detail because of the politics that are involved with it. Fighter pay and negotiating and contracts and what happens after the fight because of an extension of a contract, because it's Francis Ngannou's last fight. If he wins, his contract gets extended because he's the champion. So it's very, very interesting takes on what's happening now. But analyzing fights on this podcast, talking about what we're doing, talking with guests about their experiences. That's what it's all about right now. That's the best we can do. Keep on rocking. But yeah, if you're around Lucerne, in the Lucerne area, you're a former member, current member, friend, family, if you are a member and know some people who want to join, everybody is welcome to these classes. I am not limiting the numbers on this one. If one person shows up, you get a class. If 50 people show up, you get a class, but you don't get the attention you need, right? But yeah, that's what we're doing. Everybody who's in the area is welcome to come and train. That's all we want to do. We want to go and have fun and stay fit and healthy and shed those Christmas pounds and talk about fights and all that wonderful stuff. And if you have something to say, if you have something to debate, if you have something that you agree with or something you want to talk about, or if you just want to shoot the shit, just start talking, you're welcome on this podcast too. We can do a Zoom call and record it and get it up there. Whatever you want to talk about. This is an open platform. So, calling on you listeners, you guys want to talk? Come talk to me. We'll do it. That's about enough for today, guys. I want to keep it under 30 minutes. 2021 is over. We had a very, very successful year. I am very, very pleased with the way it's happened. I'm very happy with how we've handled it, that we stuck to our guns, that we were heavily negotiating with 3 places and we did not cave. We did not get the terms in the contract that we wanted. They were trying to work with us. They didn't go as far as we needed. We didn't get the protection that we deserve as a business. And we could very easily have signed those deals and now been January 2022, been in a fucking financial tailspin, most likely ending in closure by end of February or March max. So we are very proud to be sticking to our guns, and we will do it and we will continue doing it. We will not sign a deal unless it benefits us too. So there you go. That's us at CMA. Strong, fit and healthy. That's the key. Guys, thank you very much for listening. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't. Hit me with a like. Drop a comment. Let me know how you feel. Any feedback helps. Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Give us a listen on that if you don't like watching my ugly mug. But yeah, let's see what happens. 2022. We're going to be here next year. I guarantee it. Rock and roll, guys. Take care.